Here we have a deck. This is the wall of the house. That's the slope that is of the ground. The deck is with the decking on top. So when you do all your measurements, if you have not installed the decking, make sure you add the thickness of the decking into all of your measurements so that everything ends up being level. For the sake of this calculation, we're gonna say that from the base to the top of the decking it's 20 inches. First thing we're gonna determine is what the rise of the step should be. If it's 20 inches, typically they're between 4 and 7 inch rise, but check your local code. For this, we're gonna just say, okay, I want a 5-inch rise for my step. So if this is 20 inches and I have a 5-inch rise, then that means that I'm gonna be taking 4 steps up to get to the level of the top of the deck. Now we want the run. You want to decide on the run of the step, which is the tread depth. So that tread depth is typically 10 or 11 inches, never any less than 9. Check your local code again. For this example, I'm going to use a run or a tread depth of 11 inches. So if I'm taking 4 steps up and the run is 11 inches, then my steps are going to start 44 inches from the base of the deck, which is right here. Now we're gonna put a 2x4 in real life on the surface of the decking. If you remember that if you don't have decking, you'll put it on the top of the frame, but in this measurement here, you'll have to add the thickness of the decking. So you put a 2x4 or a long level all the way across, make sure that it's level, and then you measure from the point that is 44 inches out from the base, from that point on the ground to the bottom of the level or the bottom of the 2x4. In this case, we're gonna say that it's 24 inches. So as you can see, each step rise is going to be more than 5 inches because the height here is less than the height there. 4 steps up means that 4 divided into 24 is 6 inches. So each step is going to be 6 inches. The rise is going to be 6 inches. The run is going to be 11 inches. Oh, hey, look. We have already cut out stringers. A stringer that is 6 inches high, 11 inches deep. 6 high, 11 deep, all the way up. And look, it is perfectly level with the deck. Yay, we're all done. But not exactly. So here you can see because of the slope, you have a problem with, there's gonna be a big gap. It's basically gonna end up sitting up like that. So not only does that make this too high, it also pitches all the steps backwards, and it's just not, it's not what you want. The second thing is, with this, when we add the treads, and I'm gonna say that it's 1-inch treads for this example. So we add those treads that we're gonna step on. And first problem, this is 6 inches, but we've added that 1-inch tread, so this ended up being 7 inches, which is not what we wanted. That tread took away 1 inch from this height, but then this tread added it, so this one remains 6. I'm writing upside down. So that one remains 6 inches, as does this and this. So all of these steps are fine, but the first one ends up being taller, and we don't want that. Then at the top, this was level with the top of the decking, but we have the tread that we have to put on top of there, and now there's another tripping hazard right here because it's 1 inch above the deck level, and you don't want that. So what you would do to fix this problem is you would chop off 1 inch at the angle of the ground from the bottom. So you would take off an inch, and that would shift everything down, and it would also shift the tread down by an inch. Or my scissors. As well as making that very first step 6 inches instead of the 7. So there we go. That's where the new steps are going to be. So now you can see that originally it was 7 inches up, but you chopped off that 1 inch from the bottom, and now you're at 6 inches. This is stayed 6 inches because you didn't change anything, 6 inches, 6 inches. And your top tread, because you took it down an inch, which was the thickness of the tread that here that was hanging over. So this entire thing shifted down, and now this top tread is level with your top decking, and you have just finished building your custom stringers.
All right, so now we are at the point where we're going to mark and cut our stringers. I am using a 2x12 board because I want to have a good amount of lumber between the inside corners of the steps and the bottom of the stringer. This will ensure a strong foundation for your step. In the previous steps, we calculated the rise to be 6 inches and the run to be 11. I've taped off the 6-inch mark on the side of my carpenter's square and an 11-inch mark on the other side. If you have these little knobs that I'm showing you here, even better. You tighten them onto the square at the 6 and 11-inch mark, and you can slide the square all the way down your board for however many stairs you need to make. You can get them at your local hardware store for about $5 or $6 plus tax at the time of this recording, which was in 2020. Now, as I mark off all the steps, I'm sure to label what part sits on the ground and then number each step so I don't accidentally cut too few or waste lumber by cutting too many. After I finish marking out the step, I extend the line marked ground under the first step so I know where to make that cut. Then I mark off the part of the stringer that is going to be attached to the fascia. Finally, if you remember from our design drawing, we needed to remove the thickness of the tread off the bottom of the first step of the stringer. So for this example, I'll be cutting off an inch because that's the thickness of the tread that I'll be using. Now I'll start the cuts off using a circular saw, getting as close to the corner as possible. Then I'll finish off the corners with a jigsaw so I don't go past the corner point. Going past that corner point will weaken the strength of your stringer. So now that I have the very first piece cut, I am using that first piece as a template for all the rest. I'm going to need about 5 of them for these sets of stairs, and this is the most efficient way to do it. Here you can see what I mean when I say start the cut off with a circular saw and then finish it off with a jigsaw. For this first stringer install, I'm making sure the hanger, which is the metal piece which attaches to the stringer to the deck frame, is installed at a height where the last step from the top of my stringer to the top of the deck is the same height as all the stringer steps below it. As you might have observed, my stringers needed to be cut and hung a little differently from the original design. Since the garden bed in front of these stairs didn't give me enough room to install the stringers at deck height, I needed to install them one step down. I discovered this after I had already built the frame. You'll see me installing another board under the joist onto which I will be hanging the remaining stringers. After hanging my first stringer, I measured the width of the steps and then marked out the location where the other 4 stringers were going to be hung. Here, I'm drawing a level line from the first stair hanger I installed. This ensures they are all installed at the same height and the treads are supported equally across the entirety of each step. It also ensures the entire unit, once complete, isn't leaning off to one side. Now that all the stringers are installed, I like to install the risers before the stair treads. This helps ensure the stairs are square and the bottom step is the same width as the top. In order to do this, I make the required number of risers from the single measurement taken where all the stringers are attached at the top. The first riser I install is on the bottom step, making sure the distance between the stringers is consistent from top to bottom. Then I work my way up the steps. Installing the risers ensures everything stays put. To install the risers, I'm using exterior trim head screws, which offer a secure hold while also being less visible after installation. I hope you've learned something new or been inspired to take on your very own deck project. I'll have a video outlining the next steps up soon. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on your alerts, or follow me on Instagram at OneRestlessMother so you're notified of future blog posts and videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.